Today we're going to be going over data types and character strings on MATLAB. Data types. There are two types of precision that MATLAB uses, as integer types and floating point decimals. Two types of floating point decimals are single and double precision. Double is the default setting that MATLAB uses, while it uses 8 bits to store its data, while single only uses 4, but it was used for older computers that had less memory than newer computers do today. There are two different types. One says int 8, 16, 32, and 64. Int 8 uses 8 bits to store numbers. The first bit is used to store the sign of the number, and the other 7 store the actual number. Now the other type of integer is the unsigned integer. Int 8, 16, 32, and 64. These integers don't contain the sign of the number, so int always has to be greater than 0 because it can't hold the negative sign. To find the minimum and maximum of the integer, you type into the command window int min parenthesis single quotation int 8 single quotation parenthesis and hit enter, and it will give you the minimum value for the integer. If you do the same thing with maximum, you'll get the maximum of the integer. This gives you the range of the integer that you're using. Int 8 can be positive and negative because it stores the sign in the first bit. So the range is negative 128 to 127. So if I typed int 8 200, the output would be 127 due to being out of range. And int 8 would be 0 to 255. Now I'm going to show you right here how we find the range for each integer. So you just want to start off by typing int min parenthesis single quotation int 8 single quotation parenthesis, and you get the answer as negative 128. Then do the same thing, but instead you use maximum with the parenthesis, single quotation, int 8, single parenthesis, and a single quotation, and it shows you that the maximum is 127. So now if I want to change this and I put the u for the unsigned integer in, it shows that my max is 255 because it doesn't contain the sign. And if I do the same thing for the unsigned integer, I get 0 for the minimum. Now, I'm going to show you what would happen if you put a number out of range over for int 8 and see how it comes out to 127. That's because 127 is the highest number int 8 could store. Now, when working in MATLAB, you can always check what the class of the variable is and how many bytes are being used. This command to check on the class and type is whos. Who shows you the name of the variable, size, how many bytes, and class. If you only wanted to check on the class of the variable, you would type class, parenthesis, variable, close parenthesis, and it would show the class, whether it be double or one of the other classes, such as int 8, 16, 32. So here I'm going to show you the difference between the different classes and how to find them. So I set my variable x to equal 5, and then I use x underscore 1 equals int 8 parenthesis x, and it shows you that the value is 5. And now I type in whos, and it shows the name of the variable, the size, how many bytes are being used, and what kind of class it is. Next, we're going to talk about character strings. In order to form these strings in MATLAB, you would use char, parentheses, single quotations, and in the single quotations you put the word you want to display. Strings are used to display words in the command window. However, you could create a string from a number. This function is called num2string, parentheses with the variable inside. Next, I'm going to show you the difference between a number and a character string. I'm going to set x equal to 5, and I hit enter, and see how the 5 is indented? That indicates that it's a number. Now if I char, parentheses, single quotation, x, single quotation, parentheses, and I hit enter, you're going to see that the x isn't indented, which shows that it's not a number but a character string. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.